Now we fight!
Hey there, this is Master in 347, signed playthrough of the Phoenix Wright trilogy. Or Ace Attorney trilogy. Justice for All, and this time we finish off the investigation. For now. But we still have a real problem. We gotta try and get a full acquittal or not guilty in the first day of the trial. Well, like I said a few times before, mine is done for. However though, it did actually escape last time, so maybe all hope is not lost. Just Edgeworth came back and helped us, and he might even have a motive as to who the real killer might have been. What we can do now is hope and pray for the best. So let's do with the trial with farewell my turnabout. Ugh. Let's hope Von Karma will go a little easy on me. Adrian did it? That's what it looks like. Dude, no way. No one could do anything like that. In court today, there will be a mountain of evidence that will implicate you. A mountain of evidence? I'm certain there's someone out there trying very hard to pin this whole thing on you. Please, Mr. Lawyer, dude, like I said yesterday, I'm refreshing like a spring breeze, alright? I can't let any sort of scandal ruin that. I understand. Well, it's almost time. Mia, you must get a complete acquittal today. I know, but I can't focus on my situation right now. Or Pearl's either. No matter what, I have to focus on winning this case by the end of the day. Indeed. Well, let's get going. It's him. This is Phoenix. Good morning. This is it, Mr. Attorney, the day of the trial. Maya, she's unharmed, right? Well, when I checked on her earlier this morning, she seemed a bit, how should we say, tired. Don't worry, people don't die that easily. Besides, what you really should be concentrating on is winning today's trial. For my sake, as well as yours, you must win today's trial. Which is why I sent you a little present this morning. Present? Why in the world would you want to give me? You'll figure it out once the trial starts. And even if you don't like my gift, I think you're going to accept it and win today's contest, if you please. Wait! The kidnapper sent me a present? Mr. Lawyer dude? Who was that? No one. Had nothing to do with you, so forget you heard anything. Dude, did your nose just get longer? Oh, that's odd, someone's missing. Court is now in session for the trial of Matt Engard. And are the prosecution and defense ready? The defense is ready, Your Honor. What the? I say, Mr. White, what happened to Miss Von Karma? Ha, I don't know, Your Honor. Why are you getting mad at me? Your Honor, please be quiet, bailiff. Court is in session. If you must tell me something, please keep it brief. Now then, what is it? Prosecutor Von Karma has... This morning, Miss Von Karma was shot by an unknown gunman. What? Shot? Somehow, I think this is the present that man was talking about. His present? Miss Von Karma is one of the top prosecutors in the country at the moment. If she were to disappear, it would be to your advantage. This is totally insane. Mr. Von Karma, is she alright? I don't have the answer. She's alive and in stable condition. That's good. Phew. You thought it was him. Your Honor, due to the circumstances, Miss Francisca Von Karma cannot appear in court today. I, Miles Edgeworth, will be taking the place. The prosecution is ready, naturally. Miss Von Karma was shot in her right shoulder and is currently undergoing surgery. Luckily, I have looked into this case over and am familiar with the details. The prosecution seeks to prove the guilt of Mr. Matt Engard. Look what I've got you the prosecution. Right? I finally found the answer I was struggling for on my long journey this past year. By the time this case comes to an end, you two will know the answer. Now then, the prosecution would like to call its first witness. Please bring Detective Gumshoe to the witness stand. Witness, your name and occupation. My name's Dick Gumshoe, sir. I'm a detective down at the precinct. For now. For now? After this trial is over, I'm supposed to turn in my badge, sir. Detective Gumshoe. The prosecution has no need for a depressed witness. Lift your head up and face on forward like a proud officer, Detective Dick Gumshoe. Yes, sir. Now, let's have your testimony. If you want to explore the various facets of this case, we will start with that. Get ready, Phoenix. This is going to be very for a fight. Yeah, it would have to be with Edgeworth as my opponent. The answer he was struggling for. Interesting. Show me this answer you finally found, Edgeworth. This murder happened after the Hero of Heroes Award ceremony, sir. The victim, John Carida, was found dead in his hotel room. After looking into the cause of death, we believe he was definitely murdered, sir. At first, we thought there was something suspicious about the empty guitar case. However, we later found out that the guitar case had nothing to do with the murder. After the award ceremony ended, the victim was alone in his room? Yes, sir. Both the victim and the defendant went alone to their room, sir. I see. Mr. White, may begin your examination. So in this case, the ones actually doing the press are the 3rd, 4th and 5th statements. We can press the other 2 as well. Would you please give us a brief timeline of what happened after the ceremony? Okay, pal. The ceremony started at 6 PM. It ended around 8 PM, and then there was a short break. A special post-ceremony show was supposed to start in the lobby 30 minutes later. And that's when the victim's body was found, correct? Which is to say, the murder occurred during that 30-minute break period. Please continue with your testimony, detective. The person who discovered the victim's body was Adrian Andrews, correct? Yeah. Who is this Adrian Andrews you're talking about? She's the defendant, Matt Engard's manager. She's a really pretty lady, sir. Ah, so she's a pretty lady. Well, she will grace us with a present. When the post-ceremony show was about to start, she went to get Mr. Engard. At visiting his room, she next went to the victim's room to get him for the show, sir. I see. And that's when she found the victim's body. And, okay, every study for now we actually need a press, because this is where it gets really important. The cause of death. Wasn't that because Mr. Carida was stabbed in the chest? Only a careless amateur would believe something so brainless as that, pal. Take a look. Take a good hard look at the crime photo. Now, a real point of attention will be drawn here, to this bandana. Bandana? Banana? I mean bandana, sir. That's the thing wrapped tightly around his neck, sir. Ah, yes, I see. His banana-scented bandana. Then, what about the knife? It seems to have been stuck in the victim's chest on purpose after his death. We have a crafty murder on our hands here. I see, so he was actually strangled and not stabbed. Interesting. So because of that, no the autopsy parts gets reported, gets updated. That's important. And why did you think that? Because it was empty, pal. The Java Ninja doesn't go anywhere without his bright red guitar, and we couldn't find it anywhere at the scene of the crime. Oh, then how about this theory? A fan really wanted the guitar and did the crime to get it. How's that? Well, we thought of that too, but... The only fingerprints in the guitar case were the victims. Only the victims, huh? I see. So much for that theory then. There we go. So, there. That's another piece of information. What convinced you it had nothing to do with the case? The guitar wasn't at the Gateway Hotel at night. Then, where was it? The bright red guitar was eventually found on the TV station. The victim, John Corrida, had apparently only taken the case with him, sir. So you mean he forgot to put the guitar inside the case? Yes, sir. Even when he was on stage at the ceremony, he didn't have his guitar. So the guitar case was empty even before we got to the hotel? Yeah, that's right. So it really had nothing to do with this case after all. I believe that is enough. First, the victim was choked to death with his bandana. Then, after the victim was dead, the killer deliberately stabbed him with a knife. Which leads to my next point. Why then? Why did the police arrest Matt Engard? Because there was reason enough to suspect him. Here it comes. Looks like Edgeworth's back to its full swing. Very well, Detective Gumshoe. Please testify about this matter. Yes, sir. Matt Engard and Joan Corrida were huge rivals with each other. They each thought the other guy was in his way. That's motive enough in my book. As for evidence, there's the Jammin' Ninja's button. It was whipped off the ninja costume and was found in Mr. Engard's hakama. The defendant's fingerprints were also all over the knife. The defendant brought the knife for the crime, which makes this a premeditated murder. So the defendant's fingerprints were found on the knife using the stabbing. It was sort of sticky on the handle, so the fingerprints came out pretty clearly, sir. Okay, so now we got that too. Great. And there's his button. That was found in the defendant's cloth, wasn't it? And is his button also covered in blood? Yes, and we know that the blood on it is the victim's blood, sir. What? Great. All of this points very clearly to the defendant, doesn't it? Yes, it most certainly does, Your Honor. Ready to give it in yet, White? I'll find a hole in your argument somehow. You can press as hard as you like. Let's hold it with your unusual pointless questions. Grr! So, yeah. But Edgeworth says this too. There's going to be no real punishment, so let's just press and see what information we get. But I know which one we actually need to do. You'll see soon enough. But in terms of popularity, Mr. Engard won, did he not? Yeah, but you know what's ironic, pal? John Corrida was always one step behind Mr. Engard in everything. This year it seemed like he'd finally caught up, ready for the big final showdown. But Mr. Corrida lost the Grand Prix in the end. That is too bad. He must have been pretty downhearted after losing. Wait just 1 second here. Mr. Engard was beating Miss Corrida in the popularity polls. Well, yeah, I guess, but... Which means that in the defendant's eyes, the victim was not a rival at all. Which means he had no motive to kill at all. Yes, I quite agree. Well, Detective? It's not, well... I guess if you put it that way, then yeah, the defendant would have no motive. Detective, I'm beginning to see why you were fired. No, not you too, Mr. Edgeworth, sir. I look forward to your pension negotiations. No, Detective. Let's continue with the testimony. No, not my poor pension too. Detective, you value your money. I suggest you proceed. Yes, sir. You can talk about my pension later, sir. What about what I was saying? Hello, anyone? Do you have any proof the button belonged to the victim? What do you mean, pal? Oh, let me put it this way. I'm asking if you have any evidence to back up your claim that this button was ripped off of the Jammin' Ninja's costume. Huh? But can't you tell just by looking at it? And the victim's blood is on it. Anyone could have smeared that blood in there afterward. Mr. Edgeworth, help me, sir. Alright, I knew it had to be this piece of evidence. Now we're in this one. Fred? Huh? The button was attached to the costume by Fred, obviously, and the thread snapped when the button was torn off. If you match up the ends of the threads on the costume with the thread of the button, it's a perfect match. Yeah, that's it. It's a perfect match, pal. Gah! That Edgeworth for you. It misses the beat.
Hold it!
When was his button found? Pretty soon after the body was found. We rounded up everyone who knew Mr. Corita. And then we did a search on them. That's when we found the button. So it was almost immediately after the murder. The police didn't have the free time to lollygag and play tricks. Unlike some people. Hey! What is he trying to say about me here?
Hold it!
How were the fingerprints arranged on the knife? Huh? What do you mean, pal? By examining the fingerprints, you can determine how the defendant held the knife. For example, did he hold it normally or overhead? Overhand. Oh, is that what you meant? Well, we didn't actually think of that. I can't believe the bumbling of this department. Oh, Phyllis. Were you paying attention to the testimony, White? The defendant's fingerprints were all over the knife. There was no way to determine how the knife was held at the moment of the murder. So is the defendant the owner of his knife then? Okay, now for this one, we can press as well if you want. But actually, the defendant bought a knife for the crime, which makes him prevent murder. But that can't be true because, well, if you look at the knife as the evidence, it says, in the grip, Gatewater is engraved. Yeah, that means the knife came from the hotel. It wasn't premeditated. If that were the case, he'd bring his own knife, not just use one from the hotel room, so that's a contradiction in that statement right there.
Objection!
Wait a second. What? So the basis of your argument was that this was a premeditated murder is simply that my client bought a knife beforehand? That's right, pal. Defendant did not buy this knife. Huh? Take a look at the handle of this knife, and you see what I'm talking about. Huh? It has Gatewater seal set into the hand. Gatewater? I think I've heard that name somewhere before. That's the name of the hotel, the Gatewater Hotel. Uh-oh. The murder knife was actually property of the hotel, which means this murder was not premeditated. Yes, that is very true. This is a very big... What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm sorry, but the defense is simply too careless. What? I think whether the crime was premeditated or not has already been determined. How so? I admit this knife is hotel property. There is no one currently on the police force that is dumb enough not to realise this. But I didn't. The question is, where did this knife come from? Why, that's obvious. It came from the victim, Mr. Corita's room. Sorry. Sorry, Your Honor, but that is incorrect. The victim ate a last meal before he was murdered. With that being the case, I would like to draw the court's attention to what is on top of the table. There is a knife and a fork on the table. Then, where in the world did this knife come from? If it pleases the court, I would like for us to record the room of the defendant, Mr. Matt Engard. Especially what was on top of his table. Uh-oh. There is something missing. Perhaps it's a single knife? Eyes white. We investigated the leftover dishes for fingerprints, and while we were investigating, we came to the conclusion that Mr. Matt Engard's knife was missing. Mr. Engard had gone to the victim's room with a knife he had used during dinner. Why would he carry a knife on a visit? To kill, of course. And with what? And with that, I believe that the prosecution has proven this was a premeditated murder. Amazing, Miss Edgeworth. Absolutely brilliant. A brilliantly clear deduction. It seems like Edgeworth had his plan from the very beginning. This must be one of those traps. And I just walked headlong into it. A murder weapon with a fingerprints and a button from the victim's costume. There is quite a sizable amount of evidence here. I can safely say that any further deliberations is a waste of your honest time. Although, I wouldn't mind if the defense were to present evidence not yet shown to the court. Evidence not yet shown? He means evidence that the court hasn't seen yet. In other words, new evidence. What does the defense have to say about it, Mr. Wright? Well, Felix, the judge is favouring the prosecution right now. If we answer something wrong here, that girl will be ringing out the sound of defeat. Mr. Wright, do you have anything important and necessary to present to the court? Say I actually do, and this is actually really, really important. You only have one chance here to give the Whites evidence, and if you don't, it's an automatic game over. There's one piece of evidence that catches my attention, something that this court has yet to see. Mr. White, I will say this one more time. I do not feel this trial needs to continue at all. However, I'm giving you one chance, and only one. What the judge is saying, White, is don't try pulling one of your usual bluffs here. If I mess this up, it's curtains for us all. You may now present one and only one piece of evidence. Yeah, you see that? One mistake and it's over. Now then, what is this important evidence that you must show to the court? Okay, so basically, what you need to present... Let's see, where is it? You need to present the wine glass. Because it's odd. Because next to the victim, it's filled with tomato juice, but no one seems to have drank it. That's the only odd thing there, and it's literally the only thing you can show. Show anything else, and it's game over.
Take that!
This is a wine glass, is it not? Please look at the photo of the crime scene one more time. The scene is a mess because of the victim's struggle against his assailant. The vase was broken, his makeup all over the floor. These are all things that are at one point sitting on top of the dresser. Well, yes, I see your point. However, this glass that is sitting on the top of the dresser is mysteriously untouched. The only thing that had not fallen over from everything else is this wine glass. This piece of evidence is more than strange enough to warrant further consideration. Well, what do you have to say? Well, yes, it is a little peculiar. Yes, isn't it? I thought it was. You can stop looking at me with those puppy dog eyes of yours now. Mr. Edgeworth, what is it, Your Honor? Your opinion? You don't need my opinion, because there is no special meaning to that glass. What? It's safe to say that the glass was set there after the crime took place. By the person who discovered the body, Adrian Andrews, for example. She could have easily been so shocked that she set the glass down without thinking. That does sound very plausible. Mr. White? Could Miss Andrews really have set that glass down without thinking? Say there's no way. That just seems off. If I pay a week here, the trial is over. I can look for my proof later. For now, I should trust my instincts on point with certainty. They just might fall for it, if you're thought-provoking enough. The defense would like to challenge the prosecution's theory. We would like to see something that proves that Miss Andrews, who set up the cut on the table. You turn the situation on its head yet again, as usual. Mr. Edgeworth, you have any proof to back up your claim? There's no way he has any. He's just bluffing. Unlike Mr. White, I never said anything unless I have this evidence to support it. What? You're not thinking hard enough today, White. Did you think this wine glass escaped my notice? Then, of course it has been fully inspected for fingerprints. Fingerprints? There were only one set of fingerprints left in this wine glass. Only one? Well, whose were they? They were not the victims nor the defendants, rather, They're one of Adrian Andrews. What? That is why I said that the person who had discovered the body had left it there. Are we done here, Mr. White? Ugh! I can't believe I fell into another trap! Miss Andrews was probably holding the glass when she went to see Mr. Corrida. But upon seeing his dead body, she was stunned and set the glass down in the dresser. What you just said makes a lot of sense. Tusk. Now you see, White? I can't change any part of my scenario as it explains everything all too well. I thought long and hard this past year about what it means to be a prosecutor, and from here on out, I will show you the answer I have come to discover. Wait a second, Mr. Edgeworth. I think the prosecution has provided enough evidence for me to enter my verdict. Unfortunately, I cannot allow you to pass judgment yet. The prosecution has yet another witness we would like the court to hear from. Another witness? Yes. Bailiff, please bring in the next witness. What in the world is Edgeworth thinking? Oh no. And now witness, please state your name and occupation. Oh no, not her. Witness, your name and occupation, please. Gotcha. I wonder what happened to the calm composure he had earlier. Oh, Edgy, it's been about a year since you last met Harriet. You sure you were happy to see me? I saw the report with her testimony, but you knew that under that helmet. It was the wicked witch at the witness stand. I tell you, this time, I know what I'm supposed to do. Today, I'm going to tell you anything and everything. Even things that don't have to do with the terrible crime. Miss Witness, that terrible crime is all this court needs to know. Ooh, shush! I'm talking to my dear Edgy Wedger. Don't touch us, Gramps. Yes, madam. No, please, by all means, interrupt her, please. Anyway, Witness, your testimony, please. It's true what they say, that new are hot-headed nowadays. Not that I mind at all, Edgy. Now then, what should I start with? The witness was on a security tow on the hotel night of the murder. Is this correct, Miss Oldbag? It was a great job being able to see my dearie John. It was always too much for my little heart to handle. You mean you were a fan of the victim? Look, everyone is crazy over that Engard, saying he's cute in a fresh way or something. But not me. I wouldn't say anything so silly. After all, I have no interest in a little child like him. Interest in the real man, Juan Corrida. But those two were the same age. Anyway, as I was saying, I was pacing in front of his room that night. Very well, please report what you witnessed the night of the murder. Leave it to me, Edgy Poo. Anyway, after the ceremony, I went to pace around the hallway in front of his room. There was something I was interested in finding out, you used to know. Well, since I was on the job, I made sure to keep a good eye out the whole time. That's when someone showed up. There's a man coming out in Paul John's room. It was Matt Engard, who was trying to sneak his way out of John's room. So Mr. Engard came out of the victim's room? See? It has to be him. He's the murderer. I see. Well, Mr. White, you may begin the examination. Oh boy. So again, there's only one meal statement we need to press, but I'm going to press the others anyway. There's no real punishment, like with that other case.
Hold it!
Miss Oldbag, what was your post on that night? At Abby, I was supposed to help set up the stage for the trifling show. Well, you should help. I have you know, it was for the lead-headed samurai show. Heck, I even took out a few of the nails. Maybe it was a good thing she didn't go on. Besides, the manager with the glasses seemed to be working hard at it without me. So I thought I'd take a break and spread my wings a little. And that's when you went to hang around the victim's door?
Hold it!
Something you were interested in? And just what was that? It's not some little thing I can just go around telling everyone, you know. It's top secret between me and John. Ah, and Edgy Pooh, of course. Mr. Edgeworth, what is this thing she was interested in? I have no idea. I despise gossip, you are. Gossip? But should it prove relevant, we can always have it amended to a testimony later. It looks like we shouldn't force it right now. And did the witness stay in the vicinity of the victim's door the entire time?
Hold it!
Oh, then would you tell us the number of people who went in and out of the mystical reader's room? I have no idea. I wasn't born so I could count things for those who didn't pay attention in class. That's why ever since I turned 20, I'm keeping track of how old I really am. Yes, well, that would explain why your age was not included in the report. In any case, the witness stand saw someone, correct?
Hold it!
Who in the world was that? I'm not allowed to say. This sort of information has been to be carefully guarded from the necessary. The man that came out of John's room. Yes, he was. I'm too scared I can't say his name out loud. Ugh, what I wouldn't give to have risk a whip right now. Well, I guess I can tell you since he was such a bad boy anyway. Okay, yes, that's what we're talking about. This is the important thing we need to press on.
Hold it!
You saw my client? Are you sure about that? Yes, see. Really? Annoying brat. When I say I saw someone, I saw that person. Why do I get a sense of deja vu? Maybe to avoid a repeat of last year, I should delve into it a bit further. So, talk about the person's clothes. That's a good place to go. Please tell the court about the man's clothes in more detail. What a troublesome man you are. Really, as if something like that matters. But it does. No, what was it? Oh yes, it was that thing. What thing? That gaudy thing he's always wearing. That racing jacket. He was wearing that at the detention center too. That thing's meant for nothing but seducing women out of their pantaloons. Man. Right. So, Mr. White, was this testimony just now important or relevant in any way? So basically say it was very important. Of course it was important, Your Honor.
Objection!
Then perhaps you would like to point out what part of that testimony was important. Didn't you see it, Edgeworth? Your Honor, I request what the witness said about the jacket be appended in her testimony. I don't quite see where you're going with this, but alright, witness, please. Oh well, I don't like to badmouth anyone without reason, but if I must. He was wearing this flashy racing jacket. Honestly, it was all just show. So that's the new statement. But if he was wearing that jacket, then there's something that obviously should have seen when he was walking out. Because remember, he had something apparently on his person. This. The Jammin Ninja's button. So if he was wearing that flashy jacket, she should have seen that button as well. But he said it was caught on the costume, but he came out in that flashy jacket, so that doesn't make any sense.
Objection!
Miss Oldbag. What? Don't say my name for no reason. Do you know what this is? Ah, it's a button number 2 on the Jammin Ninja's costume. Now I know she's an obsessed fan. She identified as a single glance. Give it back here. Give it here. If you don't give it to me, I'll punish you with this. Wow, she really is a die-hard fan to want a butter covered in blood. This button was discovered in Mr. Edgar's body during a full body search. See? It's been improved beyond a shadow of doubt it was the rascal on guard. It was caught up in the pleats of his nickel samurai hakama pants. See? And then God is a nickel samurai. Witness! Now, it may just be me, and I do have an active imagination, but just now, didn't you say that the defendant, Matt Angar, was wearing his usual racing jacket? I'm so sorry. Sorry that you judge people based on what they wear. Oh, that Chinese jacket. Yep, there we go. She's on the rent again. Now hold your tongue still there for 1 second. So what you saw in actuality was not Mr. Ungard, the man, but Mr. Ungard, the Nicholas Samurai? But when you think about it, they're really one and the same anyway. Miss Oldbag, this is a very important point we're talking about. Edgy Poo, do you think so too? Well, it might be something worth considering. Just say it's important and agree free for a change. Witness, think carefully and try to remember as much as you can before you testify. Well, right, if you insist. I should be one sighing, not you. Alright. Let's try this again. Engard. Yes, now I remember. The Nick Samurai, that's right. It was the Nico Samurai that I saw. Yes, it had been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. He had to go to the post-ceremony stage show right after the crowd, you know. So he must have worn that Nico Samurai costume when he was stabbing poor John. Yeah, that one's actually pretty easy. I knew it. I knew you said he was inside that costume. What? Did you think there could have been someone else inside the costume? Don't be a bad little boy thinking such rude things. But the possibility does exist. Youngins today, I told you there is no way it was anyone else. How do you know that? Because I said so, and what I say is the truth. At least she's just as delightful as a witness as she was a year ago. Mr. White, you may cross-examine the witness. This one is actually pretty obvious, actually. Her fifth statement said he was stabbing poor John, but we know that's how it happened. He was strangled first, so why would she say that? So, yeah. But again, just for fun, let's press your statement. Would you please get on with your testimony? What's your language, you young man? What sort of tone is that you take with older? My usefulness isn't what it used to be, so you should forgive me for everything. If you keep on barking at me like that, I'll start singing at the top of my lungs. What? A striking figure I see standing low in the sea. He's the Nico Samurai. She's actually singing. Something help my poor ears. Mr. Edgeworth, can you please do something about this racket? With this, I'll give you a piece of gum later if you again stick it. It's just the facts. Okay! You promise, right? Right. I'll be sending the bill for the chewing gum to your office at a later date. I'm going to send you a thank you note later too, Edgeworth, old chum. Be a little more careful with your testimony, please. Not too long ago, you said he was wearing his racing jacket, and now he's not? Not too long ago. Did he ask me this? When you were itty bitty, what was your grand scream? Huh? What do you want to be when you grow up, Pepper Stepper? My dream? Huh. Well, I wanted to be Judge Wagner, hero of the public court. So what? See? I'm looking around now. You're not Judge Wagner. Are you? Are you? Well, what I said earlier. Who puts any weight into that thing like that? But now is everything. I can be held responsible for the past. Since when did the court become theatrics over testimonies? What the matter is that the man was inside the costume. Isn't that enough?
Hold it!
And why would that be? That way, no one could see his face, of course. But there's still no advantages for him that I can see. In fact, you would think the costume would make him stand out all the more. You are such an annoying child, you know that? You just go everything I say. Isn't that what you're always doing to me? I guess maybe it was more cumbersome for him to change in and out of the costume.
Hold
Was there anyone else scheduled to appear at the post-ceremony show? Well, all the contestants were supposed to go on stage in a friendly gesture thing. And that included Jabbing Ninja? Of course it included him. That's why Engard came out of Dear John's room. I didn't give it a second thought. Let's see. No, anyway. I could press this one, but this one's really obvious. So he must have worn that nickel camera costume when he was stabbing poor John. But, with the knife. But that's the thing, if he was wearing that costume and stuff, he wouldn't need fingerprints because the costume included gloves. The whole costume has gloves on it, so how could he leave fingerprints there if that knife? So that makes even less sense.
Objection!
That's actually the other reason. Please take a look at this. Yes, so it's a knife, big deal. If you're trying to scare me with that, I'll have you know it won't work. No, that's not my intention at all. That's the knife that was used in the murder, correct? Your Honor, do you know why this piece of evidence is important to this case? You don't even have to ask. It's because the defendant's fingerprints on it. Is that what you're driving at? That is exactly what I'm driving at. What are you driving at? And whose car are we driving? If Mr. Engard was really in Nicholas my costume at the time of the murder, then it's impossible for his fingerprints to have been left on this knife. Actually, it would have been Wright or previous fingerprints on the knife right off. Oh, that's right. Nicholas Samway was wearing gloves, doesn't he?
Objection!
He probably took his gloves off before he began the stabbing.
Objection!
And why would he do something like that? To leave his prints on the murder weapon? There's no way he would do something like that. However, there is one possibility. Then let's hear your possibility. It's very simple. The defendant went to the victim's room while in costume as a Nicholas Samway. At that time, the defendant held no intention to murder. He was probably just going to relax and talk to the victim about the stage show, which is why he took his gloves off. But the murder still did take place. It's well known that there were bad blood between the defendant and the victim. Yes, I have heard that before. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say about Mr. Edgeworth's theory? So let me get this straight. Edgeworth's theory goes like this. When the defendant went to the victim's room, he had no intention of killing him? Now, up to this point, are there any problems with his theory? So, yeah, there is a contradiction. This theory contradicts something in the earlier testimony. What are you babbling about? Now, for argument's sake, let's suppose Mr. Engard was the killer, if that's the case. I think it's impossible for the killer to have gone to the victim's room without intent. So again, present the knife. Yes, because remember that the knife in his room was gone. So you're saying that he carried a knife in his costume, then he took the gloves off of the costume, and then killed the victim with the knife? That does not make any real logical sense. So, no.
Take that!
This knife, this was used by Mr. Engard at dinner. Yes, we did establish that. Which means that if my client was in fact the killer, then he brought this knife with him when he went to visit Mr. Corrida, I suppose. However, you just said it yourself. At that time, the defendant held no intent to murder. If that were true, then why would he bring a knife? He wouldn't, would he? Which means, Mr. Edgeworth, your theory was flawed from the supposed super specialist one. And one more thing. If the murderer was wearing the costume at the time of the murder, then there should be glove marks left on the knife. Which means the defendant's fingerprint shouldn't be all over it like bees on a hive. And that brings me to my final point. This knife was planted by the real killer to hide our identity and mislead us. Order, I said. Order in the court. Was this knife really planted by the killer? Why would the murderer do such a thing? To frame Matt and Guard. It's to frame my client, Mr. and Guard, of course. To frame?
Objection!
Aren't you forcing the interpretation just a little too hard on this one?
Objection!
But we just established that the witness saw the nickel samurai in costume. And if that were true, then there shouldn't be a single fingerprint on this knife. Witness! Looks like I made your life a tiny bit more difficult, Easy Poo? Witness, did or did you not really see the nickel samurai? Well, I guess at first I might have forgotten, but... Are you saying you mixed up Miss Engard with the nickel samurai? His character on TV? But I mean, I can't really do anything about that now. Look, I was waiting around in front of that door because, well, I wasn't really taking around with nickel samurai, that's for sure. She wasn't waiting for the nickel samurai? Alright then. Who were you waiting for then? That's top secret to anyone outside security. I have a feeling that you were waiting for Mr. John Corrida. Am I correct, witness? The way you think, you are a sad amateur of a terrible case of nearsightedness. Amateur? Me? What am an amateur of? So Old Bag was waiting right in front of the victim's room. But it doesn't sound like she was waiting to catch a glimpse of Mr. Corrida. Maybe Phoenix. Maybe I was waiting around for that person. If it's who I'm thinking me is hinting at, it's certainly possible. Miss O'Bag, you were waiting for this person to come out of the victim's room, weren't you? Yeah, remember, he said that she was protecting... Remember that she didn't like how John was being stalked. Or perceived as a certain type of person. So there was one person she wanted to check, and that was Adrian Andrews. Because remember, they said to this, it seems that they saw. Remember that she was the one that first saw him, so it kind of makes sense. AKA AA.
Take that!
Who is this person? This is Adrian Andrews, Mr. Unguard's manager. But why would the defendant manager be in the victim's room? It seems that this is the latest rumor in circulation, Your Honor. Oh, this is... I see. The judge seems to be really into this article. If it can be called such a thing. Then this manager, you with the initials AA, are you saying it's Adrian Andrews? Without a doubt, your witness thought so as well. Looks like you found me out. Well, that's fine. I can throw away this whole swoon to confidentiality stuff then. Witness, where in the world are you? Watch out, Phoenix. I've got a bad feeling. A very bad feeling. I got some information. Some very secret information for a certain source. But that's why I was doing my own little investigation. It's secret, of course. But what for? Oh, just for myself. Personal reason and all that. Well, Miss Edgeworth, how do we proceed from here? I really don't want to do this, if I cannot simply let this point slide. I see. Very well, the witness. Please testify about this secret information. Get ready. This is going to take the wind out of your youngins. I'm sure we're capable of handling this. Really, it's not like we're 10 years old. That Engard is one evil man. He thought he could ruin poor John by causing a huge scandal. To do that, he sent his own manager to get in close to John. I cannot condone his dirty tricks, so I took action. Oh, and this top secret? You got that? Nobody else but you and me know yet. Okay? The defendant sends his manager? What a distasteful topic for this court. What? Nobody's above gossip. And this isn't their saying. The truth is never pleasant. Never heard of that one before. Mr. Edgeworth, what about this Adrian Andrews person? We have looked into this matter and found that the article portrays is in fact baseless gossip. But should this be true, then this proves that the defendant did build ill will towards the victim. So this means I have to smash this rumour once and for all. Now then, Mr. White, may I examine the witness? Be careful. Your bag seems rather excited right now. That's right, and Guy is nothing but your average foul-blooded youth. Well, as the old saying goes, you gotta burn old bags with fire. Time to follow the afterburns and hit the highway to the danger zone. Okay. So once again, it's that statement that's really important. Oh, whoops. Skipped ahead there.
Hold it!
You can't say something like that without proof. That's just slander. But it's true. That woman was getting into it with poor John. Look, it says right here, doesn't it? Manager of the Stars, Mr. AA? But the name of the magazine that came from its gossip lens. What? Are you saying that gossip is all just a pack of lies? What do you know? If those next to you swear to me that the news is 100% truth. Honestly, Sonny, you can't discriminate between the news and gossip. Yes, discrimination is bad, Mr. White. Discriminate? When did anything like that? Anyway, and God will never get me to say touch.
Hold it!
A scandal? What do you mean by that? You're a dim-witted one, aren't you? I can't believe you don't know what a scandal is. Honestly, what are they teaching kids in middle school these days? No, I wasn't asking what the word scandal means. Even I know that much. Well, that's in God thought he could own a monopoly on popularity.
Hold it!
You don't have any proof that Mr. Ungar did any such thing. You must be suffering from shock, the shock of hearing the truth. And now since you're in so much shock, you can't do anything right. You're right, I can't do anything, but boy do I wish I could do something about you. Alright then, Sonny, show me what you've got. Can you show me proof that Ungar didn't bear any ill toward John? No, it declined to offer proof for that one. I don't have anything to offer. See? Just as I thought. When you were lecturing me about anything without proof, you just give me a free pass to say whatever I want. Whatever I want, silly boy. Me and my big mouth. That's the way the cookie crumbles for you anyway. Yeah, so be careful. Don't assume you have evidence without thinking it through.
Hold it!
That's why I was depressed. So what do you mean by I took action? Like I already told you, I was lying in the wait close to the swine scene. Once that slimy woman came out of John's room, I was going to catch her and teach her a good lesson. Something you youngins need. You were going to teach her a good lesson? I was going to make her eat the damaging beams of my weight gun. Like this! No, sir! Well, it was too bad the woman didn't come through the door that night. Okay, now this is the actual thing you want to press.
Hold it!
Wait! What? I'm a busy woman. Tea time with the kids is over. Secret information that no one else knows yet. If that's true, then how do you know this secret information? Well, that's because I'm a pro. Yes, that's it. It's a secret. Even if you drill a hole in my brain, you'll never find out. How in the world did that old bat get such a secret piece of information? So basically you can press further, or you can present evidence. Actually, you can present evidence, because we actually have proof in this point. Yes, it's actually pretty simple how she literally got the evidence. So no one else is supposed to know this secret information, correct? If that's true, then why do you know it, Miss Oldbag? Why are you looking at me like that? Stop that! With this? I hate to say it, but this is how you came to acquire the secret information, isn't it? Yeah, remember? Lada's camera? She was trying to get a scoop too, and they said it was stolen. Now we know who stole it. It was Miss Oldbag. She managed to get the camera.
Take that!
The investigator photographer lost her heart. Oh yes, I remember that mischievous girl. She reported that she had lost a certain note she had written to herself. she reported such a thing. On that piece of paper, she had written down some of her outrageous impressions about the relationships between the victim and Miss Andrews. What? Outrageous idea, you say? No, I said impressions. Then, everything written on this piece of paper is completely meaningless? Ah, that's it! That's the note! No, you see, this is something completely different! This is my top secret list of groceries to buy! Then you are the one who took Miss Hart's note. I'm a huge fan of John, that's why. That infamous puff-head whippersnapper. She left me with that evil Engard. She said to herself, Engard, I'm a psychic. I was so happy, smiling like a skinny duck. I was really checking that she had written. Nancy Pooh, you believe me, don't you? Go! I was only trying to help out like the angel I am. It's only a little piece of paper. I've never taken anything else before. You really should come give us a pie of cheese to make your vintage wine. Well, it was only a piece of paper. I suppose we can overlook this just this once. She looks like she's really sorry. Shall I forgive her? Pile on more pressure, yeah. If I let her up now, she'll get away. Yes, they forgive her. I have to find some way to inflict a deafening blow to this prosecution. Witness, you said that the only thing you stole was that note. Is this correct? That stole? Why don't you listen more carefully, you annoying brat? I saved his paper from the terrible, lonely trash can, that's all. You're lying, damn it! And I can prove it! Are you putting my credibility under security again? Miss Oldbag. I don't believe that the note is the only thing you stole that night. Yes. She also stole the camera because there was a note inside the camera. And Lotta mentioned she took some photographs, so it's very important we get that camera.
Take that!
Miss Oldbag, that note was with a camera inside its case, wasn't it? A camera? Yesterday, Lotta Hart was raising a huge stink over a camera. She kept saying something like, my sweetie $1,600 camera disappeared on me. Why, witness! What is it, Gramps? If you have the note, then it's only logical that you have the camera too. Ugh. Look like you found me out again, Sally. Is this the camera you're looking for? That's... What? Even though I look like this, I'm sort of person, you know. I assume just like you, I fall in love and borrow things from people. I think you definitely should borrow Zero off. I saw that woman's business card, and that's when I noticed it said Steinbeck Celebrity Photographer Extraordinaire. Oh, when I saw that, I had to know what sort of pictures you had taken. I'm just a security card, it's my business to know these things. Bailiff! Check this camera's photos, hurry! You must examine them at once! Now we're getting somewhere. Well, Miss Edgeworth, what do we have? There is only one photo that seems to be relevant to this case. People into the court. This is the Nickel Samurai. See, I told you. That's the guy I saw. This proves that the witness was not lying earlier about this matter. But what does this all mean, Mr. Edgeworth? This photo by itself does not prove the person in its defendant is the defendant. However, in his own confession, Mr. McGrath clearly stated that at the time of the murder, he was still in his Nickel Samurai costume. If that's the case, then this Nickel Samurai is the defendant. How did it come to this? I think it brings us to the end. We've examined every piece of evidence thoroughly. Final comments, Mr. Wright? The court will consider them before we close. Okay, and this is actually important. just like before, you get a one chance, and if you mess this up, then it's automatically game over, which is why I'm going to do something a little bit unorthodox. I am going to save. I usually don't do this, but in this case, if I make one mistake, it's game over, and it's a very annoying way to try and get the evidence. So this is better safe than sorry sort of thing. Do you agree that this photo is decisive evidence against your client? If this photo really is decisive, then we're done for. But if I waive objection here and blow it, it'll put Maya's life in jeopardy. I can't make a mistake here. There's only one road out of this mess. This photo that Lotta took. There. Say something strange about it. You need to say that right now. There's something strange with this photo. I knew this was coming, right? Your thoughts, Mr. Edgeworth? I think we can all agree there is nothing strange with this photo. There is no way for the defense to debunk this photo, even with a bunker buster. Debunk with a bunker buster? Is that what you're trying to do, Mr. Wright? Anyway, please look at the photo one more time. If you really believe you can blindly find something wrong with this photo, then you should only need one chance, correct? Well, to find something wrong with this photo. I can't let this chance go by. Where in the heck did she take this photo anyway? It's all out of focus. Why can't she take a good shot, especially when it counts? Now then, let's hear your objection. Where was this photo strange? Okay, so we have one chance C. Okay, so we need to point towards down here. And looking at my notes carefully to make sure I'm pointing in the right place. This is why I saved beforehand. So hopefully you guys saved before you do this. Because this isn't like getting evidence, you actually need to point the right way. And as you saw in my previous chapters, previous episodes, it's a little finicky.
Take that!
I would like to direct the court's attention to this one area right here. What are you pointing to? His ankles? If you can see this person's ankles, that would be one thing. However, you can't. And what does that mean? The costumed person in this photo could not have been Mr. Guard. What is the meaning of this?
Objection!
I wonder if you could care to elaborate, with actual facts, that is. Let's take a look at the Nickel Samurai poster. Please pay particular attention to the area around the bottom of the hakama. His socks. You can see his socks. Exactly. However, in this photo, the Nickel Samurai is clearly holding his hakama just up to walk. There is only one explanation for this. The person inside this costume is clearly much shorter than the defendant. Alright, I think I've turned things around for myself this time. That's curious. Huh? Why is it? Edgeworth is unusually calm today. That's true. He is letting the trial run itself. As if he's only along for the ride. Along for the ride? What do you mean by that? I can only guess that perhaps he doesn't feel under attack at all. He doesn't feel under attack? Then I haven't damaged his case yet at all. Mr. Edgeworth, what does this leave us? If the person in this photo is not Matt and Guard, then everything the prosecutors have tried to prove has become meaningless. I figured it would come to this. What? Right, I have something I want to ask you. I think you have proven that the person inside this costume is not Matt and Guard. In that case, who is this a photo of? Who is the person wearing the Nickel Samurai costume? Don't stress out over this, Phoenix. It's very simple. What should be focused on is Edgeworth's attitude, don't you think? Yeah. Why are you so calm? Mr. Wright, let's hear your thoughts. Who is the person in this photograph? It's actually pretty obvious who it is. It's the person who is suspected of actually being the murderer. And the person who clearly has a more of a motive, Adrian Andrews. And she is also shorter than Mr. Engard, so there's that too.
Take that!
Adrian Andrews? If you want to know who that Nickel Samurai is, it's other than this woman. And why would you say it must be Miss Andrews? What in the world points you to her? For starters, she's short, and she can freely move in and out of Mr. Engard's room. Finally, she had dinner with Mr. Engard that night. How does that add up? It means that it makes it very easy for her to get to a certain item. A certain knife, with Mr. Edgard's fingerprints all over it. The knife was used as a murder weapon? Why don't you just say what you want, Miss White? I have to do this now. This is my last chance to turn things around. The defense moves to indict Miss Adrian Andrews in the murder of Duran Corrido. It was Miss Andrews who tried to frame the defendant for the crime. Order, order, order! It looks like this trial has hit a most unexpected development. Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor. This court is issuing a subpoena for Miss Adrian Andrews. The verdict cannot be passed without first hearing her testimony. Alright, this is it. This is kind of bad for us. Huh? What do you mean? If Adrian Andrews is summoned to court as a witness, it means the trial will go on for another day. One more day? Ah! If I don't get a verdict today, then Maya. Now then, we shall set Miss Andrews to a suit for tomorrow. What am I supposed to do? She was about to adjourn the court. It actually doesn't matter what we say, but raise an objection. Now then.
Objection!
Please, Your Honor, continue the trial. You must pass a verdict today. I can't do that. We cannot hear Miss Andrews' testimony if the... I am here wasting such valuable time. Edgeworth? Your Honor, I request that you please continue with today's trial. But we cannot continue due to the unexpected development. Test. Unexpected development? I think you underestimate me, Your Honor. What do you mean by that? That Mr. Phoenix Wright would slave his way to subpoenaing Miss Adrian Andrews is all happening according to plan. Even if Wright was a bit slow to catch on. What? What is the meaning of your statement, Mr. Edgeworth? Miss Adrian Andrews is currently waiting in the execution's lobby. She is next witness. Everything was planned out in advance by that man? Somehow, I knew there was no way Edgeworth would overlook Miss Andrews. Looks like this battle is far from over. Exactly. Very well. We record the next witness. However, before we proceed, we shall take a 10-minute recess. Please prepare your witness in that time, Mr. Edgeworth. The court will now take a 10-minute recess. To be continued. In this point, I'm actually going to cut it off here. I usually do it in two parts, but this is going to be like extra long, as you saw. Especially the fact that I pressed in a lot of points, which I didn't really need to, but I wanted to get some information anyway. So with that, next time we begin with the second part of the trial. This is pretty much the last episode, so it's going to be extra long. But it seems that inadvertently Edgeworth is on our side. But it's a very fun way of showing it. But next time we're going to take about the trial, we'll be able to see if Adrian Andrews really is the actual murderer. But with that, is Mastering 347. Game of Toys RPG platformer. Stay classy.